Hello and welcome. In this video session, we will see some working examples of different loops used in Python. Let us begin with the while loop. In this program, the special variable underscore underscore name underscore underscore has the string which is specified here. Hence, the execution jumps to the main function and the main function begins here. And let us run this program along with and explain the output. Here, the user is asked to enter y or n. So this print comes from the print that is used here. So the user, if he enters y or n, it is stored in the variable choice. Now let us enter y in our case. So when we enter y, the value of choice is checked and against y, and now in our case this is true. Once this is true, the while condition is executed. That means the body of the while condition is entered, and here again the user is asked to enter the radius, and when the radius is entered, it is captured in the variable radius, and the area of the circle is calculated as math pi into radius. So this is nothing but the value of pi that is imported from the math module, and the math module has a pi definition, and which is nothing but 3.14, and we calculate the area of the circle pi into r. Now let's enter the radius of the circle. When we enter the radius of the circle as 1, we get the area of the circle as 3.14, which is nothing but the value of pi. Next, it asks, do you want to continue, y to continue, and n to exit? So now let us say this is coming, the print is asking the user, do you want to continue? If the user press y, it will continue, n is to exit. So what happens is, again, the input that is typed from the user is captured and it is updated in the variable choice. Now let us enter y again. So here you can see again the user is asked to enter the radius. That is because the choice when we have entered this ends the body of the loop. Now, as we have discussed in our previous slide, for example, in this case, as we have told, when the while condition is executed, if it is true, it executes the body, and after the body of the while is executed, it again checks for the condition. So the same thing happens here. Once the complete thing is executed, it checks again for the condition. So now in our case, the value of choice is again y, hence it again enters the body of the loop and it executes the complete statement. So let's enter the radius, and it has calculated again the area, and now again it asks whether you want to continue, yes or no. Let's again enter y here. So when we keep on entering y, it checks the value of choice that we have entered against y. If both are equal, the body of the while is executed. So now let's enter the radius. So this is the new area of the circle that is calculated when the radius equal to 20. Again, now it is asked the user, do you want to continue, y to continue, and n to exit. Now let's assume that the user is pressing n here. So as soon as the user presses in, the value of n is stored in this variable choice, and again it enters this and checks for the condition. Now in this case, choice equal to y, it will check. In this case, this has written the false, and hence it comes out of the while loop. So this is how the while loop works. So basically, the while loop, we have to specify the condition within the bracket, and if the condition is true, then the body of the while loop is executed. It executes the complete body of the while loop and again checks for the condition. So until the condition is true, this body of the while loop executes. As soon as the condition of the while loop is false, it comes out of the while loop. As a note, the syntax of while loop is, we have to specify while and the condition, and as a thing we have to give the colon at the end of the while statement. So if we forget to give the colon, it the Python will throw an error. So next, let's see next example. So this example, we show how to write an infinite loop, as mentioned in the previous video session. That for the infinite loop, we have to write a while one condition. So here, for example, we are checking while one. So while one is always true forever, and this keeps on printing forever. In the in Instead of using while one, we can also use while true. True also can be used directly. Either we can use while one or while true, both are equivalent. Now let's run this program. This is also the similar to the previous program where we enter the radius of the circle. So we get area of the circle as 3.14. So in this case, how many ever times we enter it, it's in the loop. So this is in the forever loop, and it calculates the area of the circle forever. So that this is called as a forever loop. So in this case, we entered non floating value. That is the reason we have got this exemption here. So while one loop is a one which executes forever, and these use cases are seen in different applications such as embedded systems or sensors in automotive systems. Where, for example, the airbag of the automotive system, where it has to check for the sensors. So in this case, the values are read forever from the sensors. Now let's see the example of for loop. So for loop is usually used for iterations, and in this case, let's assume that we have a simple list. We will discuss about regarding the concept of list tuples in later videos. But as of now, let's say list is a simple collection of data types. For example, here we have a collection of integers like 2, 5, 8, 9, 21, 26. So these are the individual elements of the list. So now here, the for loop is used to iterate via each of the elements. For example, this sample list is the complete list, and sample list is this sample will hold the each of the values iterated one at a time. So this can be given any name. So this is like a variable, and the print sample, this sample prints the value that is stored in the iterator at that instance. Let's run this program to see the output. So here we can see 2, 5, 8, 9, 21, 26 are the output that we got from here. So in the first iteration, the sample holds the value 2, then prints it here. And in the second iteration, the sample holds the next value of the list, that is 5, and prints here. And in the third iteration, it holds the value 8 and prints the same thing. So this continues until all the elements of the list are finished. So we can also say that for loop is used as a iterator to iterate through the individual elements of the given sequence, such as a list or a tuple or a dictionary. Now let us see some more examples of for loop. Now, in this example, we have a simple list here, and the let's say the use case of the program is to identify the odd numbers and the even numbers from the given list. So we have taken a sample list, and we are running a iteration for each of the elements in the given list. And if this element modulus 2 is equal to 0, that means if the remainder is 0, then it's a even number. if the remainder is 1, then it's a odd number. So let's run this program along with and explain the output. So we can see here the same iteration has been carried out, and here we are printing 2 is an even, 5 is odd, 8 is even, 9 is odd, 21 is a odd, and 26 is a even number. So here this for loop iterates through each of the element that is present in the list, and each time it holds the value. So sample holds the value 2 at the first iteration and calculates the complete body of the for loop, and next the sample holds the next value, that is the 5, and then it executes the complete body of the for loop. So this loop carries on each until it reaches the last element. Also here also, as a note, we have to use the semicolon as the syntax in the for loop. Now let us see one more example of for loop.